Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today is Sunday, and we've got a lot of box sets here in front of us today. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. But first, I wanted to talk about kind of what's been going on this week. You know, this week I was very, very dead set on what the topic was going to be for this week. And I assure you, it wasn't going to be a bunch of Michael Jordan memorabilia and box sets, right? That is not what I actually had planned for this week. But unfortunately, time got the best of me. I was doing a lot of pre-planning for some of the initiatives that I want to roll out here in the near future. And so time got the best of me, and I wasn't able to really properly prepare the way that I wanted to for the topic that I actually had planned for this week. And so I did not want to rush things out. I wanted to kind of keep things moving at not a rushed pace. I don't like to rush things, right? And so I want things that I do to be very well thought out. And so if, you know, the topic that I want to share wasn't ready to be shared, then I feel that let's wait for an extra week and we'll talk about that topic next week, right? And next week is when we'll actually roll out the initiative that I wanted to talk about as well. And so we'll start talking a little bit about that, and we'll introduce some of these Michael Jordan box sets because that's actually, believe it or not, related to next week's topic as well. Okay, so now next week, what I wanted to talk about was serialized stack packs. Now, serialized stack packs, for those who are not aware, this is kind of something that I myself sort of came up with, the concept that I sort of came up with when I first started the store, and when I first started sort of figuring out how I was going to organize things, catalog things. And I felt that perhaps this method of organization could work, you know, in some instances for other people as well. So I wanted to sort of not promote, but sort of make people aware of this sort of storage method, one could say. Okay, now there are different storage solutions for top loaders, right? If you're somebody who collects sports cards, for example, you will have a wide array of different storage solutions for that. And so I felt that, you know, you could kind of piggyback on those different storage solutions by sort of organizing your things into a stack pack. And I took that a step further, that concept of stack packs, SBS stack packs, a step further when I had first introduced this concept. And I thought, hey, let's kind of gamify it a little bit and kind of come up with serialized stack packs. And so initially, when I had sort of thought of this concept of serialized stack packs, it was not sort of the best concept that I had ever come up with. Okay, now if you may or may not have noticed that up on the store, that's silverbarstacker.com. In fact, here's a coupon code that you could use. If you use that coupon code SBSITE 2023, you'd actually get 10% off if you've never placed an order on the website before. So I definitely welcome you to come to the website and place an order. But even if you haven't placed an order and if you've kind of browsed the website, then you would kind of understand that, hey, there's kind of a limited amount of things that we focus on, right? We're very highly specialized. It's not kind of like AppMax or SD Bullion or any of those big stores where you can kind of go and, hey, I want an Eagle. No, I want a Philharmonic. No, I want a silver bar. No, I want a 100-ounce silver bar. No, I want a gold bar, 5-ounce. No, a 10-ounce gold bar. No, I want a 10th-ounce gold bar. You could get literally anything, and you have multiple options for each different weight class and metal type and blah, 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 right? There's very, very many options, and they're very, very stretched thin with the products that they sell. They're not highly specialized, right? So when it comes down to kind of the more harder to find things, then it becomes like, oh, where do you find that? A lot of those things that, you know, especially if it's vintage or discontinued, they don't make them anymore, then it's difficult to find them because you got to find them on the secondary market, right? And then secondary market is a whole bunch of resellers. There's not kind of one centralized place to go get your, you know, discontinued vintage kind of stuff. And so there's not really a whole lot of retailers out there that sort of specialize in specifically that. You know, there's a lot of them out there. There's a few of them out there, but they all have their niche specialties, and we are no different, right? We have a very niche specialty. We're primarily into specific JM, Engelhard, USVI, sunshine mining, very specific things. Geiger, Belcambi, there's specific refiners that we focus on, but then further broken down, there's specific products by those specific refiners that we focus on. It's not like we're aping all the kilo Inglehards or 20-ounce JMs or things like that. We don't have a huge stockpile of 100-ounce bars, though we do have some, right? We don't have generic 100-ounce bars, but we mainly have vintage 100-ounce bars. So we're highly specialized in that sense, right? And so because we're highly specialized, my initial thought of like, hey, how can we kind of get people educated about these different products that we're offering, and how can we get them educated before they buy about the products that they're going to be buying? I thought, let's create stack packs, serialized stack packs for each and every product line that we have. So for example, our generic fractionals, you've got your Bitcoin grams. This is kind of like a special novelty sort of fractional piece that people really tend to like, right? So it's kind of one of our more popular fractional pieces, I would say, right? And we sell a lot of them. And so initially, this was like a year ago, I was like, oh yeah, let me make a serialized stack pack product line out of BTC grams, right? And we had gotten ourselves all the way up to number 16. I've sold through 15 of the serialized SBS stack packs, but you probably never even knew that because I didn't really promote the idea. I never really made it clear about the fact we used to do SBS drops here on YouTube. Sometimes we used to sell stuff on eBay. Sometimes we used to sell stuff right here. So these first 15 Bitcoin serialized stack packs are somewhere out there floating around. A lot of them may have just been torn out and then all the grams taken out, and they're no longer intact. And so since this was never really properly promoted, I'm thinking about kind of just boshing this first run of serialized stack packs, because it doesn't really make sense. Who wants to buy BTC grams in the form of a serialized stack pack, right? It started off with like 1 gram, then 2 gram, then 3 gram, then 4 gram, and it kind of went on. So and you could only buy one at a time, one serialized stack pack at a time. So what it kind of was that like you can either buy 17 BTC grams or none. Then after that one sold, you can buy either 18 serialized, you can either buy 18 Bitcoin grams or none, right? Those are the only options. And so I think when people want to buy things like this, they want the option to be able to go buy just a single one of these, or maybe just a pack of 5, or as many as they want. And so we kind of discontinued the whole idea of the serialized stack packs for each product line, and we just sort of took the more traditional approach, which is what you see now. If you go on the store, you could just go and buy a single one of these, right? Or you could go buy a case, a little prepper case that's filled with 12 of these, and those are kind of your two options. If you want to buy a couple, you just buy a couple units of the one pack, right? We got rid of the serialized stack pack for each product line because it started to get confusing, and there wasn't really a lot of excitement around that. I think that wasn't the proper way to sort of implement a serialized stack pack. But what I do like still about the concept of the serialized stack pack is that you get all the information there on the back. So like for something like this is more of a generic product, so there's only so much information that one can give, right? But at least it provides you with, it's a generic, it's a generic fractional bar. Product type is a bar, not a round. The metal type is silver, right? In this particular stack pack, we've got 26 individual grams of silver. So it's 26x 1 gram silver bars with the Bitcoin design. Okay, so that's kind of gives you a little bit of information, at least about what it is that you've purchased. Obviously, if we had something vintage, then this would be a little bit more informative. We might say something like, oh, this is an Engelhard bar. It's made of silver. It might have a mintage, established mintage, of 5,000, right? It's the weight is 1 ounce, and then we might provide some information there. So the concept of this, also part of the reason why I couldn't roll this out is because I ran out of these little labels. So what I did is I ordered, first of all, more of these labels so that we can provide some more information on the serialized stack packs that we're going to be putting up for sale. But we'll also I've also got some unique labels here too. So those labels are going to help gamify this process that I'm trying to do. So the serialized stack pack concept, it was a botch. It was not good. It didn't work out. Some people like the idea. I myself love the idea. And so I want to reintroduce that idea in a way that I think will be more successful. Now that I've started doing these weekly whatnot auctions, and starting next week, I would like to introduce the concept of a mystery serialized stack pack. And that sounds very, very daunting. That sounds like maybe something many people would not be interested in, because a lot of people don't like the idea of a mystery. A lot of people want to know what the heck they're going to buy. A lot of people don't trust the seller to provide them with an adequate mystery, right? A lot of those mystery boxes are junk, let me tell you. You know, you got to stay away, honestly, from mystery boxes, and I'm telling you this right before I try to sell you on a mystery box, okay? The reason why I think that mystery boxes generally are something that you should stay away from is because generally when a company creates a mystery box, they're doing so to liquidate stuff that they don't want, okay? They want to do that, and they want to do that by liquidating at a price higher than they would normally be able to sell them for if they were just selling them like that, right? So if you've got store inventory, like for example, for us, we've got a bunch of generic fractionals. We, as you know, we specialize in vintage, right? So we've got a lot of generic fractionals. So things like this, you know, we sell these pretty quickly because we sell them at low margin, and we don't really care too much about them, right? It's generic, right? You can go just get more of them made, right? So things like this, like our Valcambi combi bars, those are things we sell at very competitive prices, and we sell them very frequently. And those are the types of things, right, that you might find in another company's mystery boxes, right? Because they want to just get rid of their cheap stuff. They don't want to give you a bunch of nice stuff. What they'll do is they'll give you a mystery box that's $200 value, okay? And then they'll say, hey, this penny is worth $50, right? And these nickels are worth $5 each. And, you know, the numismatic value of this graded eagle is $1 million. So you just got the deal of a lifetime, right? So they just tell you whatever they want, and you're at the mercy of what's in the box. And so I think that when you are buying mystery boxes or any sort of mystery items like that, as a buyer, you should see what the parameters are. First of all, look at the trustworthiness of the seller, right? Secondly, figure out, is there any information they can give you about what the mystery is? Like, what's the bare minimum you're going to get? And then you have to decide, are you happy with that, right? If you're guaranteed an ounce of silver, but then you have to pay $500 for it, and there's no other parameters around that, that's a big gamble, right? So then I would be looking at the seller being like, well, what kind of inventory do they have? What kind of inventory they're promising to provide in that mystery box? And, you know, do you know anybody else who's maybe bought a mystery box from them that could vouch for how cool they are? So there's a lot of things you have to consider when buying a mystery box, okay? Now, I'm not really trying to introduce them. I've got a couple mystery box products. Actually, they're very popular. We sell quite a few mystery boxes. There's actually 2 different mystery boxes on the SBS website that you can go and buy, right? One is kind of like a more catered towards fractional, and, you know, will be kind of a lower, not a lower premium, but it's just kind of a more accessible one. It's like a $50 mystery box, and it's kind of more catered towards fractional. Then we've got a more expensive mystery box, which is $500, and that's catered more towards, nice, rare vintage pieces, right? So if you're trying to pick up something a little bit more substantial, a little bit more rare, then you're going to go for that $500 mystery box, right? And that could, in that box, you could end up with just an ounce of silver, honestly. You could also end up with 20 ounces of silver. It's highly unlikely you'll end up with 20 ounces of silver for $500 mystery box, because it's going to be rarer stuff. But you never know. It's possible, I guess. So the mystery boxes on SBS are a gamble, right? You're more than likely going to get something a little bit more collectible, but maybe not, but it might be kind of like a surprise to you, right? Like one time on the fractional mystery box, it's a $50 mystery box. One time, the person got 2 grams of silver. They got 2 grams of silver. One of them happened to be a low mintage Johnson Matthey 1 gram silver bar, but they ended up getting 2 grams of silver. They were happy with it, but it was, because I knew that they were interested in that product. So that's why I was thinking to myself, I'm going to include this in here, and I think they'll appreciate that. Sometimes I don't know anything about the customer, and I try not to roll the dice on something like too crazy like that. But the mystery boxes are always very fun, I think, for me, for sure, but I think they're fun for the customers as well. I've not really had too many customers kind of complaining about the contents of their mystery box. Usually they're pretty happy with them. Now, in addition to the mystery boxes, I would like to introduce my stack pack idea again, the serialized stack pack concept, by introducing a mystery serialized stack pack event. And I'm going to do this every single week on top of the regular auction events that I'm kind of doing each week on Whatnot. But basically, the reason I didn't want to roll this out today is because I'm not prepared, right? I want to be a little bit more transparent. I don't want to just, last week we actually did a little bit of, not last week, I think several weeks back we did kind of like a mystery mystery bag item. We did it with kind of copper bars is what it was. And, it was fun, but it wasn't organized, right? And so this week my plan was to be very organized and have like a cool pool of products that I would be transparent with you, like, hey, here's the rarity schedule. Here are all the items in the product pool. These are all the potential products that you could potentially win. Here's kind of the low end price of the product and the high end price of the product and the average price of the product in there. And I would go so far as to tell you every single item that is inside the product pool and what the chances are of winning each item. Okay, and so what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a whole rarity schedule of every single item that is inside the product pool, and I wanted to publicize that on the website so that anytime anybody is kind of joining the auction, they could just be referred to the website on the rarity list, and they would see every item in the prize pool and what they're exactly bidding on, right? And I would literally just go through and say, hey, we're auctioning off mystery serialized stack pack number 1, and boom, 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 people bid on it, whatever it closes for, we go through and we go through the product pool and we randomly select one of those numbers, right? Each product in the product pool will be assigned a number, and so we will literally go into a pillowcase and draw a random number out of that pillowcase, and whatever number that is associated with on the product catalog, on the product list there, that's the item that the person is going to be drawing for, whatever the bid price was. So and what we'll do is we'll actually put that item, let's say they drew a prospector round, right? It gets bid up to, let's say, $25. Cool. Now let's go ahead and see what the person won. We put our hand inside the pillowcase, and it's going to be filled with all of the products. It'll just be a little top loader with a little slip in there that says, what the product is: prospector round, eagle, hard bar, copper bar, gram of gold, whatever may be the product in that product pool. A little slip of paper will be inside the top loader, and we'll just draw a random card out after every single auction happens. Pull a random card out, and whatever's on the card, that's what that person wins. And we will then and there create a nice serialized stack pack. We'll put the sticker on there, then and there. We'll seal that shut, and we'll have our new established, very first new and improved SBS stack pack. So this is how the new serial numbers are actually going to be looking now. And so whoever actually wins that very first mystery serialized stack pack auction, they're going to be blessed with the very first ever serialized stack pack, mystery stack pack. So that's very cool. And then of course we'll just move right on to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and so on, right? We'll just keep pumping out the mystery serialized stack packs, right? And so the rarity schedule that I established next week, once you come on the website, you'll see next week, before we kind of go live with our auction next Sunday, you'll see that you'll have a whole list of products. My aim is to have 1,000 products if I can. I want to have 1,000 individual items. Maybe we'll start with 100. 1,000 seems like way too much, so I think I'll start with 100. Actually, I'm going to have a list of 100 products, and I'm going to literally put all 100 of those products inside the prize pool. And actually let's start with 1,000, because that way it's a little bit more mysterious. If it's 100, it's like very predictable. So I'm going to start with 1,000 items inside the product pool. A lot of those things will be duplicates, right? So I might have like a 1984 prospector, and I might have like 10 of those in the product pool. And then I might have another 10 82s, another 10 84 E logos, another 10 85s, another 10 86, another 10 87s. And then heck, we might even throw like another 2 or 3 1983s in there just for good measure, right? And then who knows, maybe I might have a freaking full set of prospectors, all 7 ounces, right? Who knows? I'm not sure what's going to be in the prize pool, but I'm thinking I'll have 1,000 unique items that are available to potentially win in that product pool. And then what will happen is we will end up just maybe auctioning off 50 or 100 items each week, right? Mystery items. So that's kind of what I'm thinking concept wise, how I want the serialized stack packs to be sort of rolled out. I also introduced something last week which was called Shack Frack stack packs, and that was basically something to feed my obsession of collecting Shaquille O'Neal sports cards. And so we actually sold through our very first 5 Shack Frack stack packs, and I think the concept was mildly successful. We had a few people kind of taking part in the Shack Frack stack packs. One person came out the victor of all 5 of them actually. And essentially what the Shack Frack stack pack was me taking random Shaquille O'Neal sports cards just randomly and then pairing them with some fractional silver. And it was done in a very, very informal way, in the sense that I was just pulling a random card, Shaq card, pulling some random fracks, putting them together, pairing them together, showing them off, and being like, hey, this is the Shack Frack stack pack. There wasn't any sort of like serialized tag or anything like that on there, so it wasn't a very well thought out Shack Frack stack pack, but the concept was at least implemented. And so I think what I'm going to do is each week, in addition to the items that we add to the product pool, I'm also going to add a few exclusive serialized Shack Frack stack packs. And I think Shack Frack stack packs will best be I think they'll be most successful if they're kind of integrated into this mystery serialized stack pack, because I don't think some people don't always want to be buying fractionals for a whole session of auctioning off fractionals. I think that people were that's what we did last week, and I think that people were not a fan, right? Sometimes people don't want to buy fracks, and so to have a whole episode dedicated to fractionals, I think maybe wasn't such a great idea and not really what people wanted. So I think it'll be more fun if we kind of gamify things a little and we put the serialized Shack Frack stack packs randomly into the serialized mystery stack pack. So maybe like 5 or 10% of the time you might pull a Shack Frack stack pack, and then boom, then at that point we'll figure out, are you going to get kind of just a more common Shack Frack stack pack, or is it going to be like an ultra rare Shack Frack stack pack? Maybe you might have like some crazy rare fractional vintage silver paired with a super rare Shaquille O'Neal sports card, or maybe you might have just something it's a little bit more common of a Shaq card, and it's a little bit more generic silver or something like that. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you have something that's a generic card and you have generic silver in there, or maybe you have a crazy cool card and then you have crazy cool silver as well. Maybe you have some gold, who knows, right? So the whole idea is that it's a mystery, but it's a mystery in the sense that you at least kind of know the worst case scenario, because everything is going to be publicized there. You'll know that, like, okay, there's a chance that I might draw a freaking copper bar that's only 1 ounce and that's only worth like $10 to me, but on the flip side, maybe you might win a cool whatever this is, right? Like maybe this is okay, cool. I got a Michael Jordan bronze medallion, number 819 of 5,000. Sweet, an elite medallion. So what I wanted to talk about was the Michael Jordan stuff. We've already talked about the serialized Shack Frack stack packs, which I'm planning to introduce next week. And actually the serialized Shack Frack stack packs, I've also got serial numbers for those as well. So SBS Shack, SBS Shack, SBS Shack. So I'm thinking maybe we might do 5 or 10 of these next week. And then finally, another thing that you might be able to draw in the mystery serialized stack packs might be something like this, an MJ420 serialization. Now these will be probably the most uncommon, but they may feature some of these cool Michael Jordan pieces that I have here. Now Michael Jordan is somebody that I really, really look up to. I mean, Shaq is somebody I looked up to. I did reach out to him and tell him about my concept of not serialized, but at least just the Shack Frack stack pack concept. I pitched that to him. I kind of pitched some other business ideas to him, because he's the type of person who says, hey, if you got an idea, hit me up and I'll hit you back. But I reached out to him ages ago. I sent him a huge email and hasn't responded back, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not like fanboying too hard or anything. I'm not gonna follow up with that, but I just had a feeling that he wouldn't actually respond. He says if you respond, if you reach out, I'll definitely respond, but still been quite a while and no response. But I kind of told them that, like, hey, I'm doing this Shack Frack Stack Pack idea, and I'm gonna kind of run with it. Just wanted your blessings. If you have any issues with it, just let me know, and I'll be sure to not do it. But I just like Shaq a lot because I think that he's just a good man. He means well. He always does kind of the right thing. He looks out for people generally. So I just generally like his mindset a lot. I think he's a very respectable human, and so that's why I like the idea of collecting Shaq cards, and I like the idea of promoting Shaq in the form of Shack Frack Stack Packs, right? I also love Michael Jordan. I like 90s sports. If you haven't noticed this, I like 90s sports. I'm not really much into modern day sports, but there's certain players from the 90s who I very much like, and I very much respect. And Michael Jordan is another one of those individuals. And so Michael Jordan memorabilia, vintage stuff, is something I'm very much into collecting, and so it's something that I would like to share with others who might also be interested in Michael Jordan memorabilia. So in addition to the Shack Frack Stack Packs, which I would like to kind of introduce into our mystery serialized stack pack event that we start next week, I would also like to incorporate Michael Jordan vintage pieces into that. And so what I thought I would do is, before I kind of go through and create that rarity schedule so that we're prepared properly for next week's auction event, what I think I was going to do is I would just introduce some of the various Michael Jordan pieces we have available here. That way, because I've never really showed this stuff on the channel before. I've never really done and this isn't my full stack of Michael Jordan stuff, but I just thought I would break out some examples of the various vintage pieces that they made back in the day, for Michael Jordan. Okay, and there's a lot of modern collectible stuff being made now as well, but I'm mainly into, again, the vintage stuff, and I'm very specific, right? I like the Michael Jordan stuff in particular, and so, in order to keep the price of these mystery serialized stack packs, at least for the Michael Jordan portion of it, kind of a little bit tangible, I've got very, very cheap things, very cheap collectible things, down to very, very expensive collectible things, right? And so, like, the cheap type of stuff is, I've got tons and tons of these aluminum. Remember these? I don't know if you remember the actual tokens, but remember this? Space Jam? Who remembers Space Jam? What a freaking awesome movie. So these are just a bunch of aluminum tokens. Just a fun little vintage piece right here. I even got some more aluminum tokens. These ones are also Michael Jordan, Upper Deck. Now, if you know Upper Deck makes all those sports cards, right? So there's all these different MJ aluminum tokens that were released back in the day that are limited edition. Well, but they're not silver, they're just for fun, So these are kind of things where it's like, okay, I've drawn an MJ stack pack, right? When it comes down to Michael Jordan, I really like Michael Jordan cards that have the number 420 on them. I just find that to be funny. And so 420. So I kind of like to go after the 420 cards a lot, the MJ 420 cards I like to call them. And so I had introduced a serialized stack pack product line for MJ 420, like any MJ 420 cards paired with some Michael Jordan collectibles. And these also sold. I mean, we sold through 11 of these, I think, potentially. So we sold through a lot of these as well, because we used to sell these on the website, right? But again, I want to kind of discontinue the concept of having a serialized stack pack for every single product that we sell, because that just becomes too much, and it's not that exciting, honestly. Nobody cares actually about the serial number on a random product category, right? What they also might not care about is what the heck I'm talking about now, but I just think it's going to be fun. I think people will get a kick out of it, and if they don't, well, so be it. I'm going to get a kick out of it. Okay, so this right here is an example of an MJ 420 stack pack, right? You got a Michael Jordan sports card, random Michael Jordan sports card. Sometimes there's like a silver signature version of this sports card, for example. So the same way that, all Engelhard kind of goes through all the rarity tiers of the different vintage silver pieces you're looking at, well, there's established rarities and things for sports cards. I'm not much into sports cards, but this card, just as an example, there are rarer versions of it. I've got some rare versions. There's a silver signature. There's many different versions of this card, actually. There's European versions of the card as well that are, harder to come by. So I have very many different types of the MJ420 cards, and I have very many different other types of MJ420 cards. And so when you draw an MJ420 serialized stack pack, not only will it have a unique serial number on the stack pack that kind of is associated with the MJ420 brand, right? Or in the Shack Frack stack pack case, the SBS Shack brand. However, you're not going to know exactly what those combination of products are going to be. So, it could be just a common MJ420 card. It could be one of the rare MJ420 cards. You might get a aluminum, token, Space Jam, or just a normal Michael Jordan Upper Deck aluminum token, or you might get a bronze serialized elite MJ round, right? Or maybe you might pull something ultra rare and you might be like, oh, congratulations, you've received one of only 500 randomly inserted 24 karat gold plated bronze medals. Wow, so this rare subset is numbered from 4501 to 5000. So wow, instead of the bronze medallion, you got a gold plated bronze. That's cool, right? Or maybe that's not that exciting, so maybe you just go over here and you pull a bronze round in a smaller box. Okay, that's not as exciting as either of those, so I don't know why you would be excited about that, but it's still cooler than an aluminum token, right? So I can tell you right here is a bronze mint coin. It already says that. So these are some of the bronze vintage pieces. I'm not into bronze usually. I carry some copper on the site, but I'm not super into stacking it. But when it comes to vintage Michael Jordan stuff, that's where my soft spot comes. Here you got a nice bronze mini mint card. How cool is this? And take a look at the back here. It's extremely detailed. I really like these mint cards a lot, actually. These are also, so you see that? That's Upper Deck. So Upper Deck makes all these sports cards. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So this is a little bronze mint card. So this is really, really cool, I think, right? Michael Jordan, my friends, I just really like Michael Jordan. He is a go-getter, and he just never gives up, honestly, is why I like him. He plays basketball, and then he's like, I'm gonna go play some baseball, even if I'm not good at it. F it. How sweet is this? Wow. Certificate of Authenticity. 407 Upper Deck. The Highland Mint. So the Highland Mint makes a lot of these sports collectibles even today. But I would say their stuff that they make now is not as freaking sweet and does not have as much character as this. It's a little bit more gimmicky, I would say. So here's a set of bronze rounds right here. So that's a lot of cool bronze stuff. I mean, look at this. I made the mistake, never do this. I made the mistake of stacking these box sets on top of each other, and this leather type of outside section totally got stuck to each other, and look at the nastiness that has happened here. This one makes me the most sad. That whole thing just ripped off. Now take a look at this. Right here you got yourself a limited edition bronze mini mint card, edition of 5,000. So those mini mint cards that we just saw, here's a set of 2, both Jordans. Pretty freaking sweet, isn't it? I really liked the details on the back, where they just, it's so detailed. So like, even though I'm not like much of a bronze stacker, I still find that this is super freaking sweet. So these are the types of things that you might potentially draw if you are lucky enough to pull one of the MJ420 stack packs. Now, the MJ420 stack packs, I would say there's not going to be more than a 5% chance of you actually pulling one of these. So if you're scared that, hey, I don't want to get involved in these mystery stack pack auctions because I'm not an MJ fan and I don't want to get stuck with bronze, well, you know, only like, you know, a portion of the MJ stuff that we have is bronze, first of all. And on top of that, my camera is very bright. Now, on top of that, the thing is that we're going to have very few chances of actually pulling an MJ420 stack pack or a Shack Frack stack pack. I'm going to probably keep the odds like at 10% or lower of drawing either of those two things, right? So maybe for every 100 or for every 100 serialized stack packs, there might be 10 that are either MJ420 stack packs or Shack Frack stack packs, right? So that's kind of the odds that we're looking at. And now we've looked at a lot of the bronze, a lot of the aluminum, vintage stuff, but I haven't showed you any of the other stuff. I've got very, very cool other stuff. I mean, right here you see some rounds. So like right here, this is probably my favorite Michael Jordan silver round that I've got, because he's got his baseball stuff on. Okay, so this is Michael Jordan and Birmingham Barons commemoratives. 1 ounce Jordan silver medallion. This is vintage. Oh no, sorry. Jordan silver medallion is 25. Vintage is 25,000. The Barons silver medallion is 5,000 vintage. And the Barons 24 karat gold select medallion is 250, and then the two-piece match numbers at 1994. So this is actually a 5,000 vintage round. Pretty dang cool, I would say. Pretty dang cool, and it's actually serialized too. You got a serial number 3809 on this one. I find that to be very, very cool. Serialized MJ round. Here's another silver round, Michael Jordan. It's a different variation. And here's another one, also a different variation. This one's serialized, this one's not serialized. So all these pure silver round. I like that. That's cool. Somebody's going to get lucky and pull the Rodman silver round. I've only got one of these, I think, so somebody's going to get ultra lucky and pull the super rare Rodman silver round. Pretty exciting stuff. Now over here, we got another silver round here. And I think, you know, these look similar here. I wonder if these are the same. Let's find out. Nope. They're different. So, you know, there's a lot of silver rounds out there for my MJ. And in many cases, the only place that you can get them will be the mystery serialized stack packs. You're going to have to get lucky to draw one of these things, right? Now, you saw the bronze mint cards. Check out the silver mint cards. How freaking sweet are these? Edition of 1,000, and you got yourself a pure silver mint card made of 3/9 fine silver. How cool is that? Now, outside of this, they even made what I think is even cooler. And this right here, folks, is the limited edition gold mini mint card set. Now, that's not pure gold. What this is a 24 karat gold plate on no less than 2 troy ounces of 3/9 fine silver. So each of these is an ounce, and they're actually gold plated as well. So I find that to be ultra cool. This, of course, is the rarest of these 3 box sets here that I showed you. Now, we've even got some more exciting stuff over here. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's see what this is. Over here, we got a nice set of bronze and silver medallions. So that's pretty cool. And of course, I am saving kind of the best for last here. So take a look at all this stuff here that we've got. Let's start with this. This right here, folks, is a 3-piece set. the Highland Mint Elite Series proof set. So this has a 1.5 troy ounce, 24 karat gold silver round, and it has a 1.5 troy ounce silver round, and then it has the solid bronze medallion. Okay, so the bronze medallion you've seen already. That's a solid bronze medallion. And then over here, these are actually chunky boys. These are actually, believe it or not, 1.5 troy ounces, not just 1 troy ounce. So they're chunkier rounds, and this one right here is actually gold gilded as well. So I really like these rounds. What I really like about these rounds also is that COA number is 77. So this is an edition, proof set edition of 350. Pretty crazy rare. I really like it. I really like the number that it comes with. I just love everything about this. And wow, the chances of you drawing this are going to be crazy low, because not only is it very unlikely that this will be added to the prize pool, but the chances of you actually drawing it very low, because we're not going to be putting too many MJ 420 stack packs in the prize pool, right? You're going to have to keep an eye every week at what the prize pool is, and keep an eye out for this medallion set. If you're looking for this, you need to be a loyal SBS supporter and be checking back on the site every week to see when we're going to be adding this to the prize pool, because you're not going to know. And I might not promote it very heavily. I might not tell you until the day of the auction that, hey, the proof set is available now, and when we're going to be auctioning off items until the proof set is drawn. We might even say something like that. So if you're on vacation that day or something, you might miss out on your opportunity. So individuals who are here present, they're going to be rewarded for sure. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the last item that I have, and then we're going to stop our ridiculously long video. But let's take a look and see what we got here. As you can see, this again looks like it might be gilded, right? So let's go ahead and start with the normal silver set first. Let's take a look at this. Certificate of Authenticity. It's a beautiful certificate of authenticity. Limited edition of 750, and this is number 250. How freaking cool is that? Wow. Striking. Beautiful silver round. Wow. This kind of goes over how they made it. They made the model image via clay. Wow, that's pretty cool. So this was actually molded with clay, the die. It's a really nice round. Really nice round. Gorgeous. I really love this, honestly. And get this, it's a 4 troy ounce round, the Magnum series, serial number 250. Now, let me just blow your mind here for just a moment, if you don't mind. number 250, right? So that was out of 7 something, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it was. This is out of 375, and it's an edition of 250. Even rarer. So this also is a 4 troy ounces, but it's gilded with gold. How freaking awesome is this? So the reason I didn't want to roll out my serialized stack pack idea too quickly is because I wanted to take my time with it. I don't like to rush things, right? And so if things aren't ready, things aren't ready. Like last week, I also thought that I would have my shit together and I'd start things on time, but I ended up starting my auction 2.5 hours later. The viewership suffered, right? The viewership suffered a little bit because of that, but the thing is it's better than rushing things, right? So I think today as well, the viewership will suffer, right? And as a buyer, right, if you're somebody who is kind of on the fence about maybe joining the auction, I think today is another great day to join the auction, honestly, because I haven't promoted this auction at all. I haven't let Whatnot know. I haven't put it on the calendar. I have not done any marketing for this week. I don't have a set topic for this week. Nobody knows what to expect this week, and nobody's going to be present, relatively speaking, right? Next week, I'm going to try very, very hard. I'm going to try my very best to market my auction very heavily, and so it will be more fun, definitely, I think, next week, because I'm going to have a very formalized concept with a nice rarity list, and you're going to know exactly what you're bidding on. We're going to have fun, gamified, mystery serialized stack pack product pool to choose from and to draw from and to bid on, right? So next week is going to be fun. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of viewership. There's going to be a lot of people there from the community, from not the community, and just there having a good time, enjoying yourselves. But this week, I think that it will be a little bit of a different vibe, because I think there will be less viewership, there will be less people there. But as a buyer, if you're there to just snipe deals, this might be one of the last times to snipe deals, at least on my Whatnot channel, because after that point, I'm thinking that, because I'm planning to up my marketing efforts, I'm thinking that there will be more people involved. And the best time to snipe deals on an auction is when there's less people involved. So that's why I'm kind of recommending that if you're looking for deals, right, not just if you're looking for vintage. If you're looking for vintage, then there's no reason to rush. There's no reason to time things, because I will always have vintage available on the website, because we specialize in it. We're specifically, the whole point of the store is to always have the vintage available. So it's not that you're not going to be able to get vintage later. The vintage is always going to be accessible when you have collectors like myself making it accessible for others, right? The only time the vintage is going to go away is when all the collectors go hide their stuff in a deep hole and never sees the light of day again, and they just are greedy and they hold it all for themselves, right? So definitely you don't need to FOMO when it comes to vintage. There's so much vintage out there, so that's definitely not a thing. Now, if you're trying to stack, right, and maybe a lot of times vintage is a little bit out of your price range, I would say that this would be a nice opportunity to maybe grab. If there are some items on the website that maybe you like, right, it might be a good time to potentially grab some of those items for cheap. If you put in like a moderately strong bid, you might come out with a big deal. Okay, so that's what I would suggest, and that's what I would suggest generally. Like if you are trying to get more collectible pieces, but you're trying not to pay huge premiums on them, I would recommend trying to take some other avenues, right? Like look for auctions such as this one, where it's like maybe a new seller, right? Because a lot of them, might do some giveaways. A lot of them might, not have a lot of followers, so they might have auctions that are kind of closing at lower prices. You may also want to check with your LCS if you have one, right? You can also always be scanning specials. You can also try to trade things P2P. You can also try to find kind of scrap metal and make money some other way to then convert that into your metals, or kind of increase your budget a little bit. So there's many avenues you can take to sort of lower your cost average or obtain higher premium things in non-traditional, unique ways, and you just have to kind of be open-minded about that. And I just wanted to share this upcoming auction as one of those opportunities. So hope to see you all there. Apologies for the insanely long video. Maybe I'll edit it, but probably won't. Cheers.